Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are going to unpack something we all experience, but let's be honest, rarely understand, and that is the sheer chaos of our own dreams. You know the type, right? Where the logic of gravity, time, and social norms just completely fly out the window. Well, today we have a fantastic, highly detailed case study drawn directly from our source material that we're going to decode together. And I promise you, by the end of this explainer, you are going to look at your own wildly absurd dreams in a completely new and honestly incredibly revealing light.
So, let me ask you a question. Have you ever, say, laughed at your own flatulence in a dream? Or, I don't know, suddenly found yourself working in this ridiculously oversized barbecue kitchen the size of a gymnasium? It sounds completely ridiculous, doesn't it? But these highly specific, totally bizarre scenarios are exactly what we're investigating today. Think of today's source dream as a mystery box. It's packed with chaotic, seemingly random events, but as we're going to see, the subconscious mind rarely does things without a reason.
To figure out exactly what this mystery box means, here is our roadmap. First, we'll look at the bizarre dream world itself. Second, the history and approach of analysis. Third, decoding the dream symbols. Fourth, 3 hidden psychological states. And finally, the brain organization theory.
Okay, part 1. The bizarre dream world. Let's dive right into this.
Let's actually walk through the exact chronological sequence of this wildly shifting dream landscape. It begins at a comedy audition in a chic, bare, concrete building. Our dreamer is suddenly trying to become a comedian. But instead of leaving through the front door, because of course not, they navigate a branching hallway, climb up, and somehow end up in the ceiling pipes of a gymnasium, literally looking down at a basketball practice. From there, the scene shifts outdoors to a historical, windowless corridor, which leads straight into a massive barbecue restaurant kitchen. Here, the dreamer is suddenly a part-time worker washing oily towels. After work, they walk home with coworkers, having a really fun conversation about romance, before finally running into 2 senior comedians, or senpais, where a very strange, flatulent encounter occurs. Talk about a roller coaster.
What's really wild to me here is just the sheer level of hyper-specific detail the sleeping brain generates. At the comedy audition, the crowd was 90% male, but a cute female duo ended up winning. Leaving the restaurant involved descending a strange giant chain mechanism. And those coworkers? There were 5 women, and the dreamer specifically remembers admitting a crush on a girl named Suamatsu. These aren't just blurry concepts, you know, they are super vivid, weirdly precise details constructing our mystery box before we start unpacking it.
Moving on to part 2. History and approach of analysis.
Now, before we start decoding that BBQ kitchen and the comedy audition, we've got to look at the heavy hitters of dream analysis. Sigmund Freud believed dreams were the ultimate window into our unconscious, primarily representing repressed desires and hidden feelings. Carl Jung took a totally different angle. He viewed dreams as a mechanism for self-integration, basically a way for the mind to balance our conscious waking life with our unconscious depths using powerful symbols.
But building on those foundations, modern dream analysis, it's not about looking into a crystal ball to predict the future. Today, it's really more of an interactive dialogue. It explores your waking life stresses, your suppressed emotions, and your current fears. This is what makes analyzing this chaotic dream so highly relevant to us, because those bizarre images are actually just a mirror of very real, everyday human pressures.
Which brings us to part 3, decoding the dream symbols. And this brilliantly illustrates how it all comes together. Let's actually map these chaotic dream elements to their surprisingly logical psychological meanings. That stressful comedian audition, it represents interpersonal stress and a deep desire to communicate effectively. What about the massive barbecue kitchen? Well, a kitchen symbolizes growth, and a barbecue specifically represents energy and building a foundation. The fun love talk about Sumatsu points to a desire for harmony and rising social luck. And finally, the farting in front of the senior comedians. While it sounds completely embarrassing, it actually symbolizes releasing stress and feeling a profound sense of psychological safety.
And this specific detail completely changes how we view the narrative. I mean, farting in a dream sounds like a total nightmare scenario, right? But context is literally everything here. Because the dreamer did this in front of respected senpais and everyone laughed warmly, it isn't about public humiliation at all. It's actually about being in a space so secure and feeling so accepted that you can completely release your inner stress and still be embraced by the group. It's this beautifully positive psychological interpretation disguised as a crude joke by the brain.
So part 4, 3 hidden psychological states. Let's pull this all together.
Beneath all the absurdity of chain-link stairs and ceiling pipes, our source reveals three core psychological themes dealing with totally normal waking life pressures. First, interpersonal desires. The dreamer is craving attention, like we saw in the comedy Audition, but is clearly feeling the stress of social evaluation. Second, growth and challenge. That exhausting work in the massive barbecue kitchen signifies a readiness to put in the effort to build a solid foundation for their life. And third, romance and approval. The friendly love talk and the laughter with the senpais show a deep underlying search for social harmony, acceptance, and connection.
So the crucial point here is this. In the dream, the dreamer was incredibly frustrated because the clean and dirty oily towels were all mixed up, making the work take way longer. But psychologically, this isn't just a chore. It represents the mind actively working to clear away past issues. You know, washing away the dirt of previous experiences to prepare for new growth and opportunities. It shows that even the most frustrating parts of a dream can hold profoundly positive meaning when we actually take the time to decode them.
All right, on to our final section, Part 5, the brain organization theory.
Now, we have to look at the other side of the coin. Enter the brain organization theory. As noted in our source text by researchers like Professor Asada, there is a strong scientific grounding that suggests dreams might not be deep symbolic messages at all. Instead, this theory posits that dreams are simply the brain sorting through the day's memories and processing information while we sleep. Think of it like a nightly defragmentation of a computer hard drive. Under this theory, the brain is just a slightly chaotic filing system working the night shift.
And you kind of have to appreciate the irony here. We just spent all this time beautifully analyzing how the comedian Audition and the oily towels represent personal growth and deep psychological safety. But under the brain organization theory, it's totally possible that the dreamer just watched a comedy show on TV, smelled a barbecue restaurant on their way home, and, well, forgot to do their laundry. Sometimes, despite all our deep analysis, a bizarre dream is just the brain randomly mashing up the day's data points without any profound underlying message whatsoever.
So what's the actual takeaway for us? Next time you wake up from a wild dream, try this three-step approach. Step 1, just enjoy the absurd narrative. Your brain is an incredibly creative storyteller. Step 2, use it as an opportunity for self-reflection. Ask yourself, is this reflecting any current waking life stress or desires for growth? And Step 3, don't take it too seriously. Remember that it might just be routine memory filing. There is no single correct answer, but examining our dreams gives us a fascinating lens into our own minds.
And that wraps up our exploration today. We've traveled from concrete comedy clubs to massive barbecue kitchens, unearthing the hidden meanings of the subconscious. It really makes you appreciate the incredible, complex machinery inside our heads, doesn't it? So I leave you with this final thought. Next time your brain throws a chaotic, seemingly meaningless puzzle at you in your sleep, how will you decode it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.